Hello everybody and welcome back to the Crafty Crew podcast. Massive excitement here at the minute. My name is Kinger. I'm joined as always by Mark.
Hello.
By Nally.
Well.
And by Walshy.
Welcome.
He stayed with English for today, so that's a good start to the episode.
Just to bring in a couple of new viewers, I wouldn't want to scare them off yet.
So this is season 2 of the Crafty Crew podcast. I'll go through very quickly. I'll very quickly go through what's different. I just want to start off by saying I haven't drank in 2 months, lads. So I don't know how I'm going to be by the end of this episode.
I think it'll be great for you. Getting back on that wagon, having loads of fun.
I haven't drank in about 2 minutes.
Season 2, lads. Can you believe it? We didn't just, decide with pubs opening back up, we were going to call bollocks to this and leave it.
No, and in fact, I would say we need to record an episode in a pub as soon as we can.
Yeah, I would say that definitely will help our street cred.
Okay, so look, for this season, what we've decided to do is we are going to be going county by county. Essentially, we've picked one brewery and one beer from that brewery from every county in the country. And we're going to go county by county and just give our thoughts on the county's respective beer that we picked.
Yeah, and just for anyone listening, if you're from different counties around the country, we've picked the beer and the brewery, and that's it. You're stuck with it. We're not accepting any changes. And your entire county is going to ride, our opinion of your county is going to ride on how well that beer does. So, we try to be good and go for some established craft breweries and get some big names and some interesting beers. But if something turns sour, okay, it's not our fault that your county's shit. It's, that specific brewery's fault. So just disclaimer, it's not us, it's the breweries.
Mark, I have a request. Can you not go like absolutely hateful on some of these places? Because since we can travel soon, I would like to visit some of these places for a night out from time to time and not get kicked out straight away.
I'm just gotta be honest, man. I'm just gonna be honest. That's all I can promise.
Looks like I'm staying in Westmead.
It's a tried and tested system. If your beer's bad, you should feel bad. So, we got to just stick with it at this stage.
We are starting with Metal Man's Raspberry Spicy Berry Sour from Waterford and Black's Brewery Pineapple Express High PA from Cork, which I am unbelievably excited about, that one. So maybe Nally or Mark, do you want to start with your facts about each brewery?
Yeah, Kinger. So come with me now on a journey through time and space. Back to the 800 ADs, where Waterford, the oldest city in Ireland, was set up by the Vikings. Loose evidence is that the guy who set it up was somehow related to your man Ivar the Boneless, if anyone has seen the Vikings hit TV show.
Mark, just before you go any further, I know we said for you to research the brewery, but we didn't think you're going to go back to the dawn of time. But okay, we're in for the long haul.
I'm getting there, baby. I'm getting there. Okay, fast forward 1,200 years.
Oh, okay.
I'll just skip that bit. Okay, that's an hour of content cut.
And he was the one that was like, "We'll get this done in an hour."
Maybe for research, avoid just playing Valhalla on repeat for a couple of days and check it out online or something.
All right, Mark, continue. Sorry.
I just like Vikings. Okay, so so Metal Man Brewing was set up in 2011 by two craft beer enthusiasts down in Waterford. So Grania Walsh and Tim Barber. They were home brewers. They were annoyed at how crappy in 2011 the craft beer selection was in Ireland, and they started expanding and doing well and expanding more. They have a massive brewery now in Waterford, in Waterford city centre, and they're doing really well. They have a couple of standard beverages that are out there all the time, and they are in the seasonal market as well. They're actually the first craft brewery in Ireland to have a full canning process, so an actual full canning line, and all of their beers are sold in cans. You won't ever see one in a bottle. I guess they just don't believe in glass. Which is funny because also from Waterford is Waterford Crystal, who make glass, as we all know. But did you know Waterford's also
a big link.
Also the home of, or the start of one of the biggest Irish companies in the world, and the very first Ryanair flight took place from Waterford to Gatwick. So there you go. A lot of history there that Metal Man is buying into in Waterford.
Yeah,
and,
I like it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I have only had one or two of their beers before. I haven't really been blown away, but I have a lot of time for Waterford. Great city, some really good craft beer bars down there.
Walshy, do you want to give us a quick little fact about Waterford there while we're talking about them?
Yeah, I have a good one now as well, and I went to a couple of places now, and this now I'm not saying it's 100%, but it's up there.
Good start.
Water was invented in Waterford.
Stop.
Hence its name.
Stop.
Hence its name. And like, I mean, if you think about it right now, you go, it all makes sense now.
I know you're wrong, but I don't know enough to prove you wrong.
Prove me wrong.
No, hang on.
Prove me wrong.
Hang on.
Prove me wrong.
We surely, if you believe in any type of science, we can prove him wrong. Like,
he's got a doctorate, man. We don't. You know?
Hey, there's 2 science men on the podcast. Prove me wrong.
Not sure how I recover from water being invented in Waterford. I mean, it's that is one way to start off a podcast with hard-hitting facts from the man himself, Doctor of Bollocksology, Paul Walsh. But yeah, so Black's Brewery, it was set up in 2013. It's a husband and wife that started it off, Sam and Maudlene Black. I don't know where they got the name from, but it's a good name. I like it. Blacks might be the family
I
name.
wonder.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically they have a lovely little story about it. Was Sam was gifted a home brewing kit from Maudlene on Valentine's Day. He started off with that, and just from there it grew and grew, and now they have it's a huge facility that they have now at the minute. They're actually Ireland's only brewery and distillery site. It's combined brewery and distillery site, so they have whiskey, gin, things like that, as well as some high quality beers. They have some, like no more than Metal Man, they have their core range, so they have Kinsale IPA, they have a black IPA, they have a couple of others, and then they have their seasonal stuff and their experimental stuff. So they have the Ace of Haze, which is a class beer. If anyone hasn't had it, it's a really good beer. They use cryo hops, so these are all blast chilled hops. They're really, really nice. It just keeps them fresher for that bit longer, and you can get more kind of flavour out of them for the amount you have to put in. And then they've gone and this is Ireland's second IPA. I think the first one was their Maui Wowie that Black's made as well. So they're actually brewed with the terpenes, which is kind of the flavour and the aroma oils from the cannabis plant in this beer.
And anyone who hasn't had Maui Wowie, it's essentially like eating potpourri.
Yeah,
I haven't had it, so I look forward to that.
Yeah, I saw.
It's the beer that made me know that 0.25 is the lowest you can rate a beer on Untapped.
Jesus, that's not a good start. Okay. Moving swiftly on from that then, Walshy, do you have a fact for us about Cork?
Okay, this one isn't as hard hitting as the last one.
I hope not.
Okay.
No, it's not. But it's still pretty interesting. Did you know the first potato was planted in Cork?
I actually did know that.
That's something we can't argue.
Fact, yeah.
It's something that we can't argue, but water being invented in Waterford, I'm not having that.
Where did they get the name from then, Kinger? Where did they get the name from?
I don't know.
Exactly!
They have, there's one other thing I found just quickly. It was something I found pretty good. The temperance movement, the whole where everyone kind of abstained from alcohol, and they were all all pioneers. That's a dirty word, but they were all pioneers. The first temperance movement was actually set up in Cork in 1833. So the first people to want to just abstain from alcohol completely, turns out, were Irish people. I mean, just sick of this stuff, I suppose.
Boo.
Wow. So that's
something about
we're
Cork.
Making up for that.
Something about Cork, boys.
That's it. First, they try and claim to be the capital, and now we find out they created abstentionism. Okay, we should just dig a big trench and float them off towards America.
Make the country lighter. Be grand.
So one thing that isn't changing about this season's Crafty Crew podcast is we are still sticking to the much respected the much loved, the much respected Crafty Crew rating system, which goes as follows. So it's 1 to 5. 1 is unbearable. 2 is booze. 3 is middle of the road. It's just beer. 4 is brutal. And then 5 is unbeerleavable. So, had we 2 unbeerleavables last season?
We did. We had 2. We had Of Foam and Fury from Galway Bay Brewery, their double
Correct.
IPA. We also had Grunt by Hope Brewery in Dublin, their
Yes.
wheat beer. We also had one in a special where 2 of us voted it. I think it was Nally, yourself, and Kinger. You guys
one of the
voted it
stouts, was it?
Unbelievable. It was the barrel-aged porter, the whiskey
Yes.
barrel-aged porter from our St. Patrick's Day special.
That's right.
So,
Incredible.
But unfortunately, it can't be fully brought into the Hall of Fame of unbelievable beers until all 4 members can vote on it.
It was a controversial decision, yeah.
Yeah, we'll call it 2.5 for now.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so look, let's crack on with our first beer of season 2, which I believe is going to be Black's Brewery's Pineapple Express IPA, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Crack them open, lads. I'm so excited about this. Like,
Yeah.
super excited about it.
Yeah, I had the first one, the Maui Wowie. I liked it. I know Mark wasn't a fan, but I did enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to this one. You know, if I'm just hoping that it's nothing like, I'm hoping it's nothing like Seth. You know, is Seth Rogen? Just it better not be him in a can. I'd be pissed off if that was the case.
That would be an experience.
Look, I am excited for a number of reasons. As I said, I haven't had a drink in 2 months. Also, I'm a fan of society in general using hemp CBD products and all that stuff. So it's interesting that it's in a beer. You know,
You dirty fucking hippie.
no man, it's all
The
good.
Galway
It's all
crusty,
love.
so he is. Right.
Well, so just pouring it out, it's got the. We'll kick off like we usually do, but it's got a lovely golden colour, typical IPA kind of look to it. Reasonable head on it, and the first little odour I'm getting is, what would you say that is? The kind of little hint you get down the back of half abandoned shopping centres.
At concerts and festivals, it just kind of wafts through the air, doesn't it?
Is there a lot of bits in it for ye?
No. Maybe
Really?
No,
few little bits, but
I mean, it's not flooded, but there's a few.
as in like sediment.
Yeah, I suppose it probably is. Yeah.
Oh, I see a little bit of it now. Actually, when I'm pouring out the can, yeah. If you look in the can, you can see it stuck to the side.
oh yes, into that deep dark
Don't
can.
look the
Yeah, it's
can.
really clear in there. So it is.
Oh yeah.
Turn the light into it. Obviously, it's simple. So it looks
A bit like us.
It looks very carbonated as well. A lot of bubbles kind of sticking to the glass for me anyway.
Yeah, just to go back on the smell real quick, not only is there that kind of, I think this is a really good time. We used it a bit when we were talking about the red, the Irish Reds, but this time I think it's way more apt. Not only is there that kind of dank smell, but there is a big hit of pineapple as well. So there is.
It's not very see-through. It's a lot hazier than I thought it was going to be.
Imagine that a high PA is a bit hazy.
Yeah.
I knew what I was saying. Okay.
So moving on
First
to the
taste.
mouthfeel, guys. It's got it just it's fairly satisfying actually. Not that crisp. Quite smooth and juicy, which kind of leans back into your hazy point there, Kinger, I think.
Yeah, that's nice. It coats the mouth a little, but it's not like sticky or anything. It's nice though. It's a little bit carbonated. It's not overly so. I don't think it's too carbonated either.
Yeah.
It leaves a bit of something in your mouth, a bit of flavour, as opposed to just washing it straight away.
Do you think so? Because to me, it's got a planty, leafy, grassy kind of taste to it.
I mean,
Somewhat like a potpourri, but maybe not as vibrant. I don't know.
It's earthy. It's definitely earthy, but I think
Oh yeah.
there's enough.
If I wanted earthy, I'd go out and eat grass out my back garden.
I think there's enough juices or there's enough other of other flavors there to kind of counteract it. I think that's kind of like Natalie was saying, if it was any more carbonated, it might kind of wash off your tongue a lot quicker, and it wouldn't leave the taste. So I think it's lovely.
Yeah, so just a quick one on it as well, just for people who might know. So it's a high PA. The reason it's that is it's brewed. It's got terpenes in it, which are a compound that comes from the cannabis plant, and these are mainly their flavor compounds and aroma compounds. You know, they give it that smell and that. I mean, they must be the biggest thing, Mark, that's given it that kind of grassy flavor that you were talking about. It has to be, and it's a very I think that's a very distinct smell. I don't think any one of us is going to mistake that for something else.
It's very distinctive.
Yeah, so just in case people are wondering.
Yeah, it smells like what you think it would smell like. Just I don't know. Just going back to the kind of flavor quickly, like to me, there's a little hint of pineapple there, and I love pineapple. Like I put it on everything, on pizza, burgers, everything.
Animal.
But that's an unpopular opinion, maybe. But
I think you just triggered a lot of people there.
But the little hint of pineapple for me is like completely overwashed by the earthy, leafy tones of it, and I think it's not really that pleasant to drink.
I enjoy it. I agree with you, Mark, in saying that the pineapple, the kind of earthy taste kind of overpowers the pineapple in it. You seem to dislike it. I don't think it's anything outstanding by any means. But the pineapple is very minuscule, and if they had a bit more of that, I think it'd probably balance a bit better.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. I get you, Mark. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to swamp a heap of these. This is going to be one that you're going to have one or two of, maybe. They're nice like that. I think it'd be really nice with a dessert, you know, because of those kind of earthy flavors that are there. Might balance out with the sweetness because there is a little bit of pineapple there as well. I think it'd be a nice beer for a dessert or something. But no, you wouldn't be having too many of them. But I like it. I mean, I think it's pretty decent.
I could absolutely sip this for the night. I think it's gorgeous.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You guys are animals. I'm sorry.
I'm trying. I am trying to not let the fact that I haven't drank in 2 months cloud my judgment of just liking a beer for the first time in so long.
Would you say?
But
would you say it's causing a haze to descend on your brain there, Kinger?
I thought my fact about Waterford was bad.
It was.
Yeah. Hey, look, I don't make up the facts. I'm just telling you what they are.
I think in this case you did make up the facts. That's the point.
I didn't make that up.
Made up the facts.
No way. I had so many sources. I've been researching for weeks.
You walked into the Olive again, not alone, didn't you?
I don't get the pineapple flavor. I don't think. Really? I don't think it's very. Yeah.
I mean,
I thought I got a whiff of it alright when I opened the can first, but I think that's just more to do with the strain of cannabis that this is kind of based on, more than a flavor profile.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's.
It probably is.
I don't think it's overly pineapple-y, but there is definitely the smell of it, and I think as well, like, it doesn't stick around very much, but I think it's at the front. So when you take the first kind of sip, you get a bit of pineapple on it there and then it kind of dissipates into that more earthy flavour. But there's definitely something there that's, because if you didn't have that pineapple, I don't think you get that sweetness in the first kind of sip of it. There's a bit of a sweetness there, a kind of tangy sweetness that is, to me, it's very pineapple at that point. I mean, it goes pretty quick, but it is there.
Yeah, I think you're just uncultured, Kinger. I think that's going back to your crusty Galwegian comment that was made about earlier on. I think that's probably why you're not getting the pineapple. I'm
probably cultured in the wrong part of this beer. Let's put it that way. Okay, lads, do we want to move on and rate this beer?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm gonna go first, and this is booze for me. Don't enjoy it.
What?
It tastes like grass. I won't be trying it again. I think, you know, like some beers that are out there, to name drop rosé ciders again, I think there's a name, there's a naming thing with this where they're drawing you in with the name and the beer doesn't back it up. I have a lot of time for Black's Brewery, really good beers, but unfortunately for me, this is one of their poorer efforts.
Jesus, I might balance that out then. I think this is beautiful. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think there's I like the earthy taste. I like the fact that it's not overly carbonated, but it's enough that it's kind of, there's a little bit of a crisp to it. Like I said earlier, I don't get there is a smell of pineapple, but it's not in the taste for me. It's definitely more of an earthy taste, like let's say a grassy taste, like you were saying earlier, Mark. So yeah, for me it's beautiful. Just to counter you a small bit.
Now, just before I go into mine, I wonder, King, and you were saying earlier on, it's your first drink in 2 months. Is that playing into a factor? I wonder if your first beer back was that rosé cider, what would that do to your system? Because if you turned around and said, you know what, that's not actually too bad after 2 months of not drinking, there's something severely wrong.
No, okay, so I
throw that in.
I didn't drink for a while, but I feel like my tastes won't have changed that much.
No, they won't. No.
I just feel like when we started season 1, you were the most optimistic fucker going with beers, okay? And I think we leveled you out over 15 episodes or whatever it was. And I think you had 2 months to reset your optimism. And I think if you rated this in 6 weeks, it would not be getting a Brutal, because we would have time to level you out again.
Okay, do you know what? As a special in one episode, in 6 weeks' time, I'll have another can of that.
Okay,
I'll give you my balanced opinion.
Now, in saying that, I don't necessarily think Kinger's a million miles off. I mean, I'd be a lot closer to Kinger than I would you, Mark, to be perfectly honest with you. I'd be a just beer. I like it. It's nice, but it's. I don't know, the small hint of pineapple. Like I said earlier on, I think if there was a bit more of a pineapple-y or a fruity or a tropical taste on it, it might balance out with that kind of earthy taste. That's a little too much, maybe, that it overpowers. So if there was a bit more of a balance between the two flavour sides, I think I'd step it up a little bit. But for me, just beer.
Nally, round us off. Take us home.
Yeah, so I don't know about you, man. I think this is pretty sweet. Dude. Sweet. Yeah, no, Brutal for me. Yeah, I really like this beer. I think it's really nice. Like Kinger was saying, those earthy tones are really nice. It's not overly carbonated. It's a really clean beer as well. It doesn't really coat your mouth too much or anything. You know, it's not too sticky or anything. It's not real.
No.
It's not real waxy. I don't know. It's kind of, some beers you get, they're kind of waxy in your mouth. I don't think this is at all. I think it's really clean. I like those earthy tones. I do get a bit of the pineapple kind of flavour, coming from those terpenes at the start. It does go pretty quick into those grassy notes, earthy notes. But yeah, I really like this. I'm a fan of this, so yeah. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, Kinger, I'll join you and have another one of these in 6 weeks if I can't get it sooner.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
I could probably pick one up and work for us, lads. Just saying, we put through an order. I know we have them in stock. So.
Now, listen, we're not going to be getting sly little pushes in there for.
Hold on, we have that because I just got a new job and I want to.
Nope, because then
I think get through your first week before you start.
I'd say get through your first week and then
okay.
and then plug it. Yeah.
And then we can gloat. Okay, fair enough.
So, guys, that brings us down to a just beer for Black's Pineapple Express High PA. So, a middle of the road start for beer 1 of season 2.
Yeah, average, yeah.
Yeah, so Kinger here is going to give us our little outro for this beer and summary of the rating. And we've decided that, because we're all contributing with facts, me and Nally are doing a lot of research around all the beers we're trying, and while she's trying as hard to make up the most ludicrous lies he can think of.
Only one of them.
That Kinger's role in this podcast is he's going to, as a homage to each county, he's going to give us our little outro for each beer in the accent of that county. So, Kinger, take us away with your best Cork attempt at saying the outro for this.
Oh, Jesus. I genuinely haven't practiced this, right? So I apologise to any Corkonian listening at the minute. Alright, boys, so for Black's Brewery, that's a just beer, right? Alright? Hang on. Alright, boy, for Black's Brewery's Pineapple Express, it gets a just beer from the Crafty Crew podcast, like.
Oh my god.
I'd like to point out something I said at the very beginning. It's like, Mark, don't say anything outlandish to get us kicked out of these counties. I'm pretty sure Kinger's going to do it before you.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
No, it's not the worst now. It wasn't too bad, but
wait till we get to Waterford.
Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what their accent is like, so educate me, Kinger. Educate me.
Oh God. Okay.
Kinger, that's a fair ball to you. It's a good go. I'm so glad that we've made this a staple for season 2.
We're going to crack on now with Metal Man's Raspbeer, which is a spicy berry sour. So, for anyone who hasn't maybe listened before, Walshy's our big sours expert here. So, I'm sure you're looking forward to this one, Walshy.
I am, and one thing I will point out that I like particularly about sours, and some more than most, is sours that are actually very tart and nearly extremely sour. I love that in them, and I've had a few over time that don't have it at all, that have been disappointing. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this one goes.
Okay, very good. Let's crack them open, lads.
Well, season 2, episode 1. Mark has wasted no time in coming for my job as the anchor of the show. So, oh my God!
Jesus
oh my
Christ.
God!
Lads,
I am absolutely sopping. This has literally
you
exploded.
You never
Like, this has...
have you never opened a can before?
Well, actually, you and I both know that that's a lie, but this has exploded. Like,
My phone is
phone,
absolutely crazy.
laptop, everything. Like,
Lads.
Did you know that was going to happen?
I got a little explosion, but it wasn't anywhere as bad as what you guys got there.
I feel like it shouldn't have happened.
Although I'm looking at the carbonation. I was only able to get about half a can into a little glass, and it looks like an absolute storm in a glass with bubbles.
I can actually wring out my t-shirt after this bastard thing. I can tell you something for nothing. It's not starting on a good note.
Wow, that bad?
Stop it. I know we talked about it last time, actually, on the last...
Well, it's not as bad as a wheat beer.
I was just going to say, I know we talked about it last time on the last episode of the season, where I had said about how I had the Hope's Grunt beer before and it exploded. Walsh, you were there for that explosion. This was literally twice as bad.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my God.
That was horrific.
That was ridiculous.
What?
This is how much I've left.
What the fuck was that about?
That's how much I've left. Everything else gone.
Like, did you put it into the old washing machine before you started drinking it or something?
That's been sitting on my desk since we started recording 45 minutes ago. Like,
it was sitting in the fridge for about 5 hours before that.
okay, colour wise, it's no surprise. It's red. Berry, red berry, yeah.
Yeah, like a dark red.
Cranberry juice type colour.
Yeah, very hazy. You can't get any light through that.
No.
Sucking it in. And super carbonated as well, as we've established.
Do you think so?
Yeah, mine's fairly
I didn't think so. I think the carbonation is all gone on mine, for the most part. But then my can didn't explode even a little bit, so... But then I do treat them like my children, unlike some of you.
The smell brings me back to one of our early episodes of season 1 where it was that the smell of feet.
Yeah, our sours,
which I think we've decided is an attribute of sours in general.
I would say for me it's not quite that bad. There is a spiciness or a hint of sourness you get in the smell, the tartness that Walshy's looking for. You can kind of get hints of it. It's not as bad as, say, the green zebra when we had that time in the smell. But yeah, I do agree with you. There is that kind of...
I can't lie. The disappointment that is coursing through me right now is pretty immense. I haven't tried this yet, but it's going to have to be pretty damn good, so it is. I won't lie.
I said that as well. It's starting pretty low.
I will say, going back to what Nanny said about the Hope Grunt that we had that exploded, that was still a 440ml can. This is a 330, so it's a bit smaller, so I can only imagine if half explode, it's... I mean, if you get a mouthful, you're probably doing well at this stage.
I can wring out my t-shirt, lads. That's how bad it is.
What's its number?
Get out.
No,
get out.
That's the worst one. That's the worst one yet, Walshy. Okay, its taste is not letting me down. It is what it says on the tin. It's a raspberry sour. Like it's not kind of it's not varying from that.
I will say this: I've had about 5 mouthfuls, and with each, the spice that is being left in my mouth is getting more and more intense. And I made the mistake of like licking my top lip, and it's fucking on fire right now.
Oh, really?
Like, spice bag's less spicy than this thing.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
What, really?
It builds
spicy,
every
like,
mouthful. Every mouthful, it's getting spicier.
I've had a few, and I get it a small bit kind of in the back of the throat. You're like, but not to that extent.
Well, I hadn't read the can before this, so tart and refreshing. This sour beer is made with raspberry and chili. I didn't know there was chili in it. There you go.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I'm not getting any chili tastes out of it. Just the heat, you know.
Well, the heat, the spiciness from it, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's not unpleasant. It's unusual though.
It's again, I think this is pretty clean, like the last one. It's not really coating your mouth too much or anything like that. It's not overly, I think maybe all of the carbon dioxide that was in there has left my can because it freaking exploded everywhere. So it's not overly carbonated, and if it was, it's definitely not anymore. It's, the smell is there. It smells kind of raspberry. It smells like feet. Its taste is grand. It's fine. I won't lie, lads. It's tainted for me because it freaking exploded. But it's a nice flavor though. It's pretty good. That chili kind of kick you get off it, Mark. It's not overpowering. It's not you're not creased by it. It's not making your nose run around. But there is some kind of heat there, and that's kind of nice. Like, it's a bit strange. It's a bit different than any other sour that I've had. Anyway, it's certainly, if it, yeah. Look, we'll see when it gets to the rating. I'll tell you.
Like you said, Nelly, the flavour and the taste doesn't stick around too long, but I feel they kind of heat, it's not massive heat, but the heat sticks around after you get the initial cherry taste or the sour. Once that's gone, the heat is still there to kind of remind you, that you're still drinking it, rather than some beers in general you have, it's like you drank, it's gone, or like that's it,
Yeah, I would say this is definitely its own thing. I haven't had anything like this before. And I think, I'm not decided whether this is good or bad for me, but I think as Walsh alluded to previously, he likes the super tart, sourest of the sours. I think it doesn't reach those heights, and I think that's because of the spice, because that kind of eye-watering, tongue-churningness you get is always at the very end, the very last swallow of it as it leaves your mouth. But in this case, it's spice that's kicking in there, so you're getting the heat at that point. As I said, I'll keep drinking it and see whether that's a good or bad thing for me. But it definitely is more middle of the road in terms of tartness.
Just a quick one. I love chili. Like, I love curries. The spicier, the better. But like, this new craze of like putting chilies in sweet stuff, like for desserts and chocolate and stuff. Are you a fan of that?
It's not something that I would think of, but no more than we go back to a different episode we talked about, Kinger. You can't understand these outlandish stout flavours. And one I had that Nally bought me a kit from, it was a Mexican hot chocolate stout, which had chilies in it as well. Very peculiar, and you wouldn't expect it at all in something like that. So, similar like this, the sweetness in it, to have the heat on top of it, it's a very peculiar combination.
Mark, the boys are back buying into their beer kits and stuff. Are you reaping the benefits of this?
You weren't invited, no.
I'm not involved in this. This is their own little clique they have.
Yeah.
And I think me and you need to set up our own thing, Kinger. Without the two lads.
Take them on, yeah.
Did you not get the Secret Santa thing? Because Nally got me and I got Nally, so...
Well, that's what's going to happen if you do Secret Santa with two people, Walshy, because you've no other friends.
No, but I mean... did you not get the memo? We left the memo. So, like, obviously ye got each other and bought each other nothing. Like, I mean, you're not really great friends.
I'd just like to point out, fuck all of y'all. But no... Yeah, well, actually, that was the thing. It's a nice little beer thing. It's fine. Mark, I still haven't met you in person, so maybe next Christmas. And
that's all. That's also a very valid point.
It's not my fault that we got some gym membership and the gym closed. I have no control over that. If I did, you would still be pumping out that lactic acid, you sour fuck. So get over it, boys.
Yeah, fair. Just to swing us back then on the chili thing, I don't like this mixing chilies with sweet stuff. Whereas with this, I love the initial kind of real sour fruity flavor that you get, and it's that, like, when it comes to, let's say, cooking a curry, it's more important to me that you can taste the flavor of the chili as opposed to having the mouth just burnt off you by it. And I remember last year going back to like a couple of beers that leave that that familiar warmth in your chest, like after you have a gin or a whiskey or a rum. This is the same kind of deal. So you get the real tart, sour flavor of the raspberry, and then just at the very end of it, it's that just familiar little heat that you might get with a nice chili, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'd be the same as you, Kinger. I'm a big fan of spicy food, but it has to be flavorful. It can't be just punching in the face with spiciness. Now, there's a time and place for that as well, but in general, it's the flavor that I like. This, I'll say it again. If anyone gets this, be careful, because your can may legit explode. It's like the Simpsons episode where Homer pulls the can of Duff from the fridge, and I feel like I could have been left in hospital. It was a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
But it is making up for it. It's pretty good. That tartness is there, but it's at the start. Like you were saying, Mark, it's not really overpowering. Usually with sours, you get that kind of near the end, and you get that kind of pucker sensation near the end. This is nearly at the start, and then the chili takes over, which it's definitely its own thing. It's yeah.
It's really interesting.
It's its own thing.
I think we're all kind of struggling a little bit because we haven't had anything like this, so we're processing it as we're drinking it and trying to rate it.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot more than we normally do because we're normally like drawing lines. It's like, this is like this other beer that I had that I like or don't like, and this reminds me of this. Whereas this is like, if we have another thing like this in a year, it'll be like, oh, this is like Raspberry by Metal Man. We're just getting our first little reference point for this.
Well, I'm happy to move on to the rating part, and I can go first. I have no problem. I'll jump straight in. I will give this. I'll give this. Reluctantly, I'll give it a just beer. I mean, flavor wise, I kind of probably think it deserves higher. It's probably a Brutiful, but because it exploded and made shit of everything around me, my phone, my laptop, my smart, everything, it's going down. And it's lucky it's not getting something much lower. If that flavor wasn't so good, it would be in a whole different category. But it's a pretty nice tasting beer, so I gotta bring it back up to just beer.
I'm going to jump on the just beer wagon here and give it the same rating as you, Nelly. I think it's nice. I think it's got a nice raspberry taste, and the spice adds something unusual and unique, and definitely sticks around the palate, and you're drinking it. I just think that it's kind of half one, half the other. That, like, it's not quite a spicy kind of drink, but at the same time, it does lose that tartness, or a lot of its tartness, to the spice. I think it's a good beer. It's solid. I definitely have it again. I think it's really unusual, and one of those things that, like, if somebody asked you, oh, what's a mad beer I can try? I think this is something you could give them, because it'll just fuck with their heads, like. But I think overall it's just a solid beer, and it's not really, while it has some special parts to it, the taste and flavour for me doesn't do enough justice to give it higher than just beer.
Yeah, I'll just throw on a quick thing to the end of mine as well. I think 100% agree with you, Mark. I think the good thing about it though is because it's a sour. So, like what you were saying earlier, I had a couple of stouts that have had chili in it and stuff, and stouts tend to be kind of heavy, and hold that flavour a bit more. But I think because it's a sour, it kind of cuts it off at a certain point, so you're just kind of left with the heat and the tartness, which clearly it's what they were going for, which works, but. Yeah, like you, it's just beer. It's it's grand.
So this one books a trend for me. Like I said earlier, I'm not a big fan of this chili mix of chili and sweet stuff. I really like this. This is beautiful for me again, and I know I'm going to get slack
I
because
fucking
I'm
knew
the
it.
most
You're too
optimistic.
optimistic. Yeah, too optimistic.
But it's nice. It's a nice beer, and to piggyback on what you said earlier, if someone said to me, "What's a mad beer that I could try?" This is where you'd put them. I have to say the Green Zebra that Walsh introduced me to via the podcast was probably one of my favorite drinks that I've had in a good while. It's very nice. But it's it's different enough. This is different enough to warrant its own kind of, to stand out on its own. I love the kind of the very subtle heat at the back of it.
Kinger, I'm with you. Beautiful. It's not. I like the, like I said earlier on. I like the tartness, the sharpness from a sour. It is not the tartiest. Is that,
Sure.
would that be the right word to use?
Yeah.
Beer that I've had when a relevant sour. There's one in particular that it's kind of like, that's the pedestal, but it's not far off it. But I do really enjoy once that initial berry and a bit of tartness dies off, that it brings in that little bit of heat to just kind of sound it off, which I really enjoy. And it sticks around. There's not. I find that there's a lot of beers that just kind of, you get taste, and then it's gone.
It's gone, yeah.
You know, a second.
Yeah.
Whereas you get the initial kind of berry, the sour taste, and it doesn't stick around massively long. But then that heat comes in, and that sticks around for a little while. But the fact that you get a beer in general that can stick around nicely as it goes the whole way down is quite different, and it doesn't happen enough with some drinks. It's that initial taste and then it's gone. This sticks around, goes from your berry to your spice, which is a nice blend. I find a peculiar blend, but a nice blend that I enjoy. So I'm Brutiful as well.
This to me would be a perfect Christmas drink.
Oh, I see where you're going. The kind of mulled wine,
yeah.
spice, sweetness kind of road.
That'd be great for Christmas.
Like, wedding, like the pre-drinks of a Christmas wedding in front of a fire in a
Perfect.
hall.
Yeah,
Some
perfect.
mulled wine, or you can have some raspberry. You know, we are slowly replacing every other alcoholic beverage with craft beers. Every scenario, we are finding a solution, and the solution is always craft beers.
I will say I've been slowly trying to get some of the family onto the craft beer scene. The sisters were getting there, brother and parents not so much. This is so different. If I brought this home to them, I think I'd be disowned. No,
This might work.
I think they disown me. No, definitely not. Not a fear of it. It's that different. If I told my mother that there's chilies in this, she'd ask me to leave.
That gives us a Brutiful for this beer. And I know sometimes we can get annoyed when your rating isn't the rating that it ends up with. And maybe Nally's going to have a point. He's going to send Metal Man an invoice for a new laptop and phone. But I think I'm not unhappy with how that turned out. It does bring on a little bit of a journey. And it's a very interesting, unique beer.
No, just to follow on from that, Mark. Like I said at the time when I was giving it the rating, if this hadn't exploded, this would have gotten higher for me. It's a really good beer. Beautiful. I'm happy with that rating, but by God, it was so close to getting so much worse just for how it happened. Like,
don't be.
I'm a sour man now because I'm
let's not be
sour
petty.
now because I'm covered in frickin' raspberry. So
Let's not fight, guys.
Just lick it off.
Let's all remember, Kinger now has to do this outro in a Waterford
God.
accent, so we get to hear
this
what
is going to be
like.
epic.
We'd like to apologise to the people of Waterford for any offence caused.
The Crafty Crew podcast do not condone Kinger's efforts of accents, and we would like to distance ourselves from all further activity in this manner.
Yeah, we'd like to distance ourselves from the show mechanic that we came up with and implemented.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's more fun to blame Kinger for it.
I would like to point out, I'm not 100% sure what the accent is from Waterford. So I'm
You're about to find out, man.
extremely interested.
You're about to find
Doesn't
out.
matter.
Exactly. I'm very interested. I'm
Well, it
excited.
doesn't matter.
All right,
So,
Michael
like,
Winslow,
so-
let's take it
It makes
away.
no odds.
I've been listening to like clips of people online from Waterford all day, and I'm pretty sure I'm about to butcher the shite out of this. But in Waterford, they're famous for the blah. So they're kind of like a flat version of the southern accent. So let me see. So, Metal Man... Metal Man's Raspbeer has gotten a brutal from the Crafty Crew podcast. Oh, Lord.
You basically just said that in your normal voice. That was not
just the way you're talking.
Right, yeah.
No, that's
little
it. That's as good as that's going to get. That is, I promise you, that's as good as it's going to get.
Oh, wow.
I'm making a promise here now to people that listen to the podcast and to my fellow podcasters. My accents will get better. These were two very bad accents to start with. I promise.
I can't wait till we get a Jamaican one.
Jamaican's not in Ireland, Walshy.
What do you think? What do you think the counties are?
It was a lads. I know you're not good at the jokes, but that's what I was going for. I didn't realise I had to explain mine.
I can't wait. I can't wait till Kinger does Westmeath and just does your accent, Walshy.
Oh, that's the one I'm going to have crack with, like.
I honestly didn't think I had an accent.
I'm really looking forward to something.
You definitely do.
Something northern.
What?
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay, guys, so just to wrap up, I have a quick little question for the three of you. For anyone listening, we record a little bit ahead of time, so we're recording this on the day of the Champions League final. Manchester City are playing Chelsea, and none of us none of us are a fan of either team, really, in any way, shape or form. So I just wanted to really quickly ask you guys, of the two teams, which player do you think would be the best crack to go out with on the tear?
Oh.
Kante.
Nally is straight in with an answer.
He's adorable. I don't care what anyone says. He'd be some crack.
Yeah.
Just Kante.
Look,
have you ever seen...
No, he'd be no crack. He'd be no crack.
But have you ever seen him?
No, he'd be no crack.
He doesn't drink.
I don't know, man. I think...
I feel like he'd be probably drinking water.
Have you ever seen him just riding the bike, like, the big happy head on him? I feel like you could show him a butterfly and you'd have your night made. If you were Twisted and a lad who got, so happy because he was on a bike with a helmet, was afraid to, get a picture taken with a trophy he essentially won for the team, I think he'd be impressed by anything and it would be unbelievable. The man still drives a Mini Cooper and rides a bike to training. I feel like going out with him, the crack, would be epic. His mind would melt, and I cannot imagine there would be much better than that.
Enjoy your couple of Fanta oranges.
Oh, but that's fine. I have a designated driver as well. Then, like that's a win-win for me.
Fair.
He can give you.
I'll take it. I'll sit in the basket. I'll be that locked if I'm out with Kante.
Okay, first name to come to my head. Thiago Silva.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh, I'd say that'd be narcotic-induced night out.
I feel like I'd wake up in a boat somewhere, I don't know, off the Pacific Ocean somewhere. Who knows what had happened there? He looks like that kind of fella now that inhales drink.
Kinger, what about you? Have you've been thinking hard about this? I think.
I honestly don't know. Like, I genuinely hate every single one.
Can't hate Kante. Can't hate Kante.
Absolutely can hate Kante.
You
Look at
can't.
the happy head.
He is an adorable specimen, in fairness.
I don't know. I feel like someone like Rudiger might be a bit of a dark horse. Like,
I'd say he's no crack.
Minus.
I'd say and all he do is talk about training all the time. Yeah, that's a bad answer.
I think Rudiger would be a dark horse,
Well, if he's always giving out behind managers' backs about the managers and getting them sacked, he's the kind of lad who'd be standing there talking to you for 10 minutes, telling you you're great, and then walk over to some other lad and start talking about how you're a bollocks. That's what Rudiger would be doing on a night out.
Yeah, fair.
That'd be fucking secondary school shit drama. That's what it would be.
Do you know what? Okay, do you know what I'm taking from this? Thinking of all the players on City and Chelsea, none of them seem to be a genuine bit of fucking crack. Whereas between the four of us, we support Liverpool and Man United, and I'm outnumbered 3-1, unfortunately. But at least I feel like there's players on both of those teams that you could say, do you know what? He'd be a bit of fucking crack on a night out.
Yeah.
Well,
these
don't
seem the same.
Stop trying to bring Jordan Henderson into the equation, okay, Mr. Liverpool.
I was going to say,
okay.
Harry Maguire gets arrested.
I'm all about Bobby Firmino. I'm all about Bobby Firmino.
Final. You have to pick some. You've picked Rudiger. Okay, for me, I had to throw up. It would. At first, I was thinking maybe it'd be Kepa because he's such a disaster. Imagine what he'd be like on a night out. He can't hold a football. How's he going to hold a point? But the more
he
I
never
think
gets
about
played
it,
as well.
I think if you went out with Olivier Giroud in Paris, you'd see a whole fucking Hugh Hefner otherworld.
That's fair.
That's very fair.
I think that man would show you things that you only thought existed in HBO dramas.
I'd like to point out, we only pick Chelsea players.
Nobody in City's any crack.
The only one that maybe I'd be inclined to go is Phil Foden, just because he'd happy to be there.
Can't do that. Maybe Ederson. Ederson seems a bit like.
Oh yeah, he's probably a mental or that or lad.
If I had to pick a City player, I'd 100% go with Key, just to go to Belgium and get shit faced in the Trappist Brewery. Like, do you know, I'd be happy out with that. Like,
do you know what I do as a Man United fan, Nally? I'd pick Kevin De Bruyne and I'd get a fucking crowbar and break his knees.
So, just a quick follow on from that. I mean, are we all in agreement that, like, even though he's the biggest shithouse in the Premier League, wouldn't you love to go on the sauce with Jamie Vardy? Wouldn't you?
Yeah, do you know who I also think would be cool to go for a beer with is Ben Chilwell. Did any of you see that little video of training?
Ben Chilwell,
where he's
oh my god,
pretending to dive.
That'd be some crack.
He ran up and he real stupidly punched Rudiger and then ran away.
Rudiger, yeah, because even he thinks Rudiger would be shite to go for a beer with.
Thanks a million for listening, and it's great to be back. So we'll see you next week, and as usual, it's a goodbye from Nally, goodbye from Walshy, goodbye from Mark, and from myself, Kinger. See you next week.
Just you break him up. Just bring the crowbar.
yeah, but I don't.
Can we just take players from the past and just go on the lash with Eamon Dunphy?